share those audacious goals from Secretary Guterres, and as we know, we have the power. We have the power to make those goals a reality. But to do that, we need to organize a big team to fight for this healthy planet, to make those goals a reality. And that can seem like a daunting task. But fortunately, we have with us a man who is nothing short of a force of nature himself. He's played many roles in his life, from world champion bodybuilder to global action star to politician at the highest level. But now he's embracing his most important role, and that is climate action hero. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage our founder and my friend, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Matt Eisman, for the wonderful introduction. You're an absolute champion. I love all the great work that you're doing for us, traveling around the world and hosting this climate summit. So thank you very much. Let's give Matt Eisman a great hand here. Thank you, Chancellor Nehammer, for the wonderful speech that you've given here today to us and for helping us open the summit. Thank you very much, President van der Bellen, my dear friend, for co-hosting the summit with me every year as we move towards a clean energy future. I really appreciate your friendship. Thank you very much. Big hand to both of them. Thank you. And a big thank you also goes to Monica Langthaler and our whole team for all of the hard work that you do to make this the greatest environmental conference in the world every year. Big hand to the whole team and to Monica Langthaler. And thank you also to all of our world leaders that are here today and our environmentalists. It's wonderful to have all of you here in this beautiful city. Now, we all share one big goal, and that is a world without pollution. Now, people ask me all the time when they come up here, says, why am I smiling? Why am I having such a great time and have this kind of relaxed and joyful face? And I always tell people, I said, well, I mean, first of all, I'm back in my home country. So that makes me really happy to be back here in Vienna and to eat all the good schnitzel and to drink the schnapps, the Interkaiserschmarrn and all of those things. It's fantastic. But also I'm so happy because I have all my friends here. I mean, I have my friends here from Thal, from my home village. I have my relatives here, Monica and Marcus. I have my friends from Germany, like Albert Busek, and from Hungary, Adam. And I have my girlfriend here with me, Heather Milligan, who's traveling with me all over the world and supporting me. So this is why I'm happy. So thank you, Heather, for being here today with me, okay? So that's why I'm happy, and I'm also happy because when I look back at the last 20 years and see how far we have come in California with our environmental progress, how could I not smile? As a matter of fact, just the other week, it was literally just 3 weeks ago, I plugged in a huge solar roof in California. This solar roof was 180,000 square feet. It was on top of a warehouse, top of that roof at the port in Los Angeles where all the ships come in, this big harbor. I mean, think about that. 180,000 square feet. So our program continues in California. And it was possible because of our Million Solar Roof Initiative. So of course I'm happy. While I was there, I visited the startups inside that warehouse and saw the future. Now, as Terminator, of course, I saw the future already a long time ago in the movies, but this is reality now. I saw the future, I saw the robots, the clean cement, sustainable seafood, and companies that are making power from algae and waves, and much more. As a matter of fact, some of those companies are here today. Let's give them all a big, big hand for coming all the way over here. So I can't stop myself from smiling when I see all of this wild progress towards a green energy future. And I have to laugh because when I think back 20 years ago, yes, it is 20 years now that I ran for governor of the great state of California. But when I ran for governor, the environmentalists didn't trust me. They were very suspicious. They said, this guy, is not to be trusted. He's talking here about that he's going to be a green governor. Nonsense. He's a conservative. He's a Republican. He's blowing up everything on a movie set. He's smoking cigars. I think this is just another empty campaign promise. Now, I was not offended by that at all. First of all, I always believe if people don't expect anything, you have a much greater chance to accomplish a lot. But I also understood it because I was a newcomer, I was an outsider. I knew that my administration would have to work their ass off to prove the naysayers wrong. And that's exactly what we did over the next 7 years. We passed all kinds of great environmental laws. It wasn't easy. It was tough to do, but we did. The Million Solar Roof Initiative, our historic plan to reduce pollution by 25%, stronger tailpipe emission standards, a renewable portfolio standard to replace coal and gas with wind and solar. And the list goes on and on. And as we accomplished all of those things, all of a sudden, the environmentalists came around to my office. And they started having meetings with me. And they started hugging me. And they started using my lines from the movies. They said, thank you, Governor, for saying hasta la vista, baby, to pollution. Thank you for terminating greenhouse gases, stealing my lines. Imagine. And on top of that, they invited me to speak at all the clean energy summits all over the world to show off about California, all the stuff that we have accomplished. So this is what's going on. There's, of course, an important lesson here. I want you to remember to keep the doors to our environmental movement open, to newcomers, to outsiders, and to the newly converted. Keep those doors open. Because outsiders always bring a fresh set of eyes to our mission. When I got involved first with this whole thing, I saw right away, as a businessman and as a man that was savvy in marketing and in communicating, that there was something off about our environmental movement in California. Because they always were talking about climate change, but no one really knew what the hell is climate change. So they went right over people's heads. They should have also talked about pollution. They should have talked about how pollution kills 7 million people a year, choking on air poisoned by fossil fuel. That's what you need to tell the people, not about climate change. You need to talk about what causes climate change, which is pollution. Pollution is the evil. And I still feel like a newcomer today. I still see everything with fresh eyes. The day when I look at our environmental movement with those fresh eyes, I see a dire need. A dire need. We need a new environmentalism based on building and growing and common sense. Old environmentalism was afraid of growth. It hated building. Many of you know this style, of course, protesting every new development, chaining yourself to construction equipment and using lawsuits after lawsuits and permitting to slow everything down. But that's not how we accomplish anything. And I have to be honest, I don't really blame those old environmentalists because back then, growth meant more fossil fuels, more pollution, and more death. But times have changed. Everyone has to wake up. Times have changed, and we have to change with them. Trust me, you don't want to be the old out-of-touch boomer, asking someone for a beeper number, or looking for a VCR to watch movies. No, times have moved on. There's new technology. It's time for the environmental movement to wake up and to see the new reality and to be able to change and to adapt. The other day I was listening to some financial expert talking about the challenges of financing. This guy managed billions and billions of dollars of funds. And he said the number one and most important thing is to always change and adapt. He says he wakes up every morning and looks at the stock market. Every morning he looks at what's going on in the economy. He says he has to adapt and he has to change. And if he doesn't, if he would invest just like in the 70s and 80s, he would be out of business. See, that's the problem. Growth doesn't have to be powered anymore by fossil fuels. No, times have changed. Solar and wind now costs less than coal power. And new electric cars are coming online every single week. Every single car manufacturer now produces electric cars. Our progress is moving so quickly that it is actually hard to imagine how we could ever fail. But I want to be clear. We can fail. And if we do, it won't be a failure of innovation. If we fail, it will be a failure of not growing and not adapting with the times, not listening to the people and not using the tools at our disposal. It will be a failure to build green projects. We can no longer allow red tape to hold our green revolution back. We cannot allow that to happen. We can no longer accept years of environmental reviews, 1,000-page reports, lawsuits after lawsuits, and keeping us from building. And I want to be clear here. I'm not just talking about building new highways and freeways and on-ramps and off-ramps and tunnels and bridges and those kind of infrastructure. No, I'm talking about infrastructure that has to do with the clean environment, environmental projects. Throughout the United States and Europe, thousands of clean energy projects sit waiting to be built. Sit waiting to be built. Delayed by bureaucracy, delayed by permits, delayed by old transmission lines, delayed. In Europe, solar projects face a waiting time of up to 4 years. Wind projects can take up to 10 years. Why? Now, Germany just hosted an environmental summit where they called for a deadline to end fossil fuel age. Isn't that great? To end the fossil fuel age. The only problem with this was that at the same time they closed nuclear plants to replace them with gas. Well, wait a minute. They closed a plant that produced no pollution with gas that produces pollution. Does that make sense to you? And they dismantled the wind farm to make more room for coal. You see what I'm saying? The whole thing doesn't make any sense. This is wild. And it's true. In the United States, it's not much different. I mean, we have 2,000 gigawatts of almost completely clean energy projects waiting in line to be built. 2,000 gigawatts. Just to give you an idea of how much power that is, the entire current United States grid handles 1,200 gigawatts. So now there's 2,000 gigawatts waiting to be built, all renewable, clean, just waiting to be built. Clean energy is not moving forward. And this is why you see headlines now in the newspapers and magazines that say, clean energy, what's the holdup? or red tape is holding back green future. Those are the kind of headlines we see now in the press. Is this really what the old environmentalists want? I mean, we all agree that we are facing an emergency. Let me ask you a question. If you have a heart attack, you get taken to the hospital, to the emergency room, and there they tell you, we won't have time for you right now. Come back in a week or two, maybe in a month. What would you say? You would say, get the hell out of here. What are you talking about? This is an emergency. I know none of you would put up with that. So why are we putting up with these delays in our pollution emergency? That's why today I call for a new environmentalism based on building the clean energy projects that we need as fast as we can. We have to build and build and build. Recent reforms from the European Union to fast-track some of those projects gave me actually great hope. So I'm very proud of the Europeans. I want to congratulate them for this effort. And I hope that my American friends are paying attention to this. They know that right now the White House and the Republican Congress are talking about those reforms. And I'm so happy about that, because that's really good. So I say, keep talking, get it done. Don't let perfect be the enemy of progress. Now, all over the world, we have to keep reforming the system to work faster. That's the important thing. We have to stay on top of this. People are dying. That's why today I call on every government around the world to clear the path for green projects, start building, and terminate pollution. I call on all my environmentalist friends to move past the old ways and to embrace the new environmentalism based on clean energy growth. I call for change. Change is never easy, but this is an emergency, and this emergency demands action. Lives depend on it. Now, one of California's most famous companies, Facebook, had an equally famous motto: move fast and break things. Let the slogan of our new environmentalism be, move fast and build things. Build a clean and abundant energy future. Let's do that. Build better, build cleaner, build now. Build, build, build. We can do it. As our motto here says, we have the power. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Sylvia, every time I hear Governor Schwarzenegger speak, I feel the power. We look at these climate goals that we need to meet, and you just say, do it. Do it now. Come on, what are you waiting for?
Oh my God. Yeah.